Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome to an epic siege battle that I have for you guys today. It is a 3 versus 3, a really massive battle, and the balance of power starts and pretty much goes the entire battle being very, very even, heavy losses on both sides, and a very, very close conclusion. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. The first attacking army in today's battle is the Empire of Nicaea, and this is commanded by Debos 11111, and he's brought a pretty solid force, good mix of archers, spears, and swords. So he's got 4 units of these heavy archers, which look really, really nice. Tier 3, excellent armor, good rate of fire. And then way over here, he's got 1 unit of Gazmioi. Just a medium crossbow unit, tier 1, but he probably had some extra money left over, so he decided to grab one. And then for his spears, he's brought the best of the best. He's got 4 units of the Skutetoi, which are the best spears that the Empire of Nicaea can field. And I think they have pretty good missile block. Yes, 80 missile blocks, so if they went into a shield wall or a spear wall, that would go up to 105. So definitely useful in siege battles to have high missile block. And then he's kind of got his infantry split up onto a couple flanks, so he's got 2 units of this Anglo-Varangioi, which is a longsword unit. He has 1 on either side. And then he has 1 on this side and 2 on the other of the Spathroi Guard, one of my favorite units for the Empire of Nicaea. Not the best, they are tier 1, but I just love the red shields that they come with. But he has 3 of those because there is a cap on them. And then he has a unit of Varangian Guard here. Looking really, really nice. And actually, interestingly enough about the Varangian Guard, I was doing a little bit of research on them today, actually. And what I did not know is that this is actually comprised of quite a few different mercenary cultures, but most of them were actually from Norway. Interestingly enough, and the famous Harald Hardrade, or Harald Hardrada, he actually served in the Varangian Guard at one point, which is really cool. And then he has a unit of Skutetoi swordsmen of the High Period, and then way on the other side, might as well show you instead of cutting it out, because he did bring 1 unit of these Rus mercenaries, which look really cool as well. So that's most of his infantry. Really light on the cav, though. He's got his Latin Con, only 1 unit. And then, probably should have planned out a little better how I was going to look at this, but I usually like to do archers, then spears, then swords, and then cav. But here is the General's Bodyguard, early period. And I think he does have 1 bombard as well. But there's the General. Just an early period one, nothing too fancy, but I don't think he plans to send his general into melee anyways. So that's it for Debos's army, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next attacker. The next attacking army in today's battle is the Republic of Genoa, and this one is commanded by myself. And Republic of Genoa is a really solid and diverse faction, so I do like choosing them when defending in sieges, but I never had really tried them when attacking, so we'll see how this battle goes. But I've got 4 units of tier 3 Pavis crossbows, or 4 or 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so 5 units of Pavis crossbows, and then I have a bombard and a catapult, so I brought 2 units of artillery. And then in the siege towers, I have 6, and then 1 behind, 7 total of the Spadaccini of the High Period. Again, going for that missile block. These swords have 80 missile block. That's not including their shield wall. And then I brought 2 units of Piscieri. And over here in the center, I brought 2 units of Lancieri, again with 80 missile block. And then I've got my General's Bodyguard here. This is the General's Bodyguard of the late period. And that's the General there with the gold face mask. And that's pretty much my army except for 2 more units. I've got 2 units of Condottieri, which is a tier 3 heavy shock cavalry. These guys look awesome. I really, really love the Italian cavalry with their heavy plate armor like this. But that's pretty much my force, so let's go ahead and take a look at the last attacker. The last attacking army in today's battle is the Swiss, and this is commanded by Hamdog CDXX, and we're looking just over the shoulder of his general. I believe it's Rudolf is his name, Rudolf of Erlach. So he is kind of split his force into 3 different groups to attack 3 different points. But in total, he has 3 units of these crossbowmen of the late period, and 2 of these archer sergeants. And then he does have some pikes on the siege towers right here, I believe. So he has 2 units of heavy pikemen. And then he has 6 units of copper shields total. And these guys look really cool. I really like them in siege battles. Let's see if we could jump into the tower. So there they are. And the reason they're called copper shields is because they have copper shields. I don't even know why I needed to elaborate on that. But yes, he also has a catapult and a bombard. And he has some units of Swiss nobles here, 2 units. And then he has a unit of men-at-arms. This is, I guess, his most elite infantry. And then way over here, like I already covered, more of the copper shields. We covered his archers, but he's also got a general's bodyguard over here. So he's got a commander-sub-commander thing going on, which is really kind of cool. There's his sub-commander, by the way. But that's really cool. I really like how Hamdog does that. So his main general, like the king over there, is in control of like the left flank, but he's put his subordinate or his captain in charge of a small flanking force to attack a different direction. So really nice to see that. I should actually start to do that and get a little more into the game like that. But yeah, basically that's it for all 3 of the attacking armies. So now we just have to take a look at the defenders. The first defending army we have in today's battle is the Kingdom of Norway, and this is commanded by the Red Celt. And he's got a pretty solid force. Now, Norway is Tier 1 to Tier 2 pretty much only. I don't think they have any Tier 3 units. But he's actually got a few pretty elite units here as far as Norway goes. So he has 4 units of these Landwehr pikemen, which are going to make it really difficult for us in the choke points. Even though they're Tier 2, they still got a decent missile block at 42, which is surprisingly better than most halberds and pikemen. And then he has, I believe, 6 units of these Vapnir. Pretty standard Tier 2 infantry for Norway. There's some more Landwehr. And then on the walls here, if I can get there without running amok everywhere, we got 2 units of Bombardier. And he also has a catapult over here, which is a little bit concerning. And then he's saving all of his cav for the final stand, I guess, or he's got them back in the 2nd tier. He has 3 units of the Hanseatic Lancers. And then his final stand over here is a couple of units of Orkney Islanders, which are very elite. They're only Tier 1, but they can still form shield wall, which is pretty overpowered for archers. Or I wouldn't really say overpowered, but it's a nice feature to have for archers. And then he has 2 more units of Vapnir. And then his general over here is a foot ritter. And just look at this glorious king here on foot with a massive crown on his head and a huge halberd. That is somebody you don't want to mess with on the battlefield. But that's pretty much it for the Red Celts army. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The second defending army in today's battle is the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and this is commanded by Labadal. And Jerusalem is a very formidable force on the battlefield, let alone holding this massive city. But we've got our work cut out for us as attackers, definitely. But Labadal, he's bringing 5 units of these Crusader Armati, which is a Tier 2 infantry. Not their best infantry, but pretty solid. And then he is bringing 4 units of this Hospitaller Heavy Caravan, which is arguably, I would say, the best crossbow unit in the game. If we take a look at their stats here, for a crossbow unit, 105 missile damage. I'm pretty sure that regular crossbows do 62 missile damage, so that is insane right there. Range is pretty standard, but if you get down looking at their armor stats, 90, with melee damage and a melee defense of 39 and 58, so they can even hold their own in melee just like an infantry unit. And then they also have the 80 missile block, which is pretty much standard of most of the faction's spears. So, very formidable, and as you guys can also see, they can form square, that little square insignia in the bottom left-hand corner. So that actually makes them pretty formidable against enemy cavalry, which is the whole reason that people bring cavalry, is to get rid of crossbows in the first place. But he has 4 of these bad boys, so we'll probably see them getting a lot of kills in today's battle. And what else does he have? He's got some of these spears over here. 2 units of Urbum Hastarum Loricati, and very colorful. And he's got another unit over here, I believe. He did have some cavalry as well, some military order swordsmen, or military order cavalry, I believe. 2 units. And he's also got some dismounted Pauline Knights. Now, these guys are not standard pikes, as the player found out the hard way in the battle. If you guys can see, their spears are quite short, or their pikes, I should say. In addition, or not in addition, but if we were to look at the Landwehren of the Red Celts, their pikes are much longer. So these guys, they would do pretty solid against enemy halberds, but not so well against enemy pikes. However, they do look pretty sweet. So let's jump in. And he does have a catapult. This is his catapult here. And he's also got some dismounted Fratres Milites Templi. 2 units of them. And I would want this guy's uniform right here. That looks awesome. But yeah, if you guys can hear some of the battle music going on, don't worry, you're not missing a thing. I always will rewind it to the point where the battle begins. But I just want you to check out, before we look at the final army, the Grand Master of the Hospital. He's just checking all of his battle lines, making sure that, you know, his troops don't need help on any of the fronts. But he is definitely ready for battle. So let's take a look at the last defending army, and then we'll get started with the battle. The last defending army that we're going to take a look at in today's battle is the County of Toulouse, and this is commanded by Ghost Recon 556. It's a very powerful French state, and this is his kind of final reserve in the town center. He has a few units of Scutafury, which is their best spear units. There we go, 80 missile block, 113 health, 86 armor, which is really, really good. So he's got about 6 of these guys, and then 1 of the medium. And by medium, I mean the medium spear militia, so it's a tier 1, it's a lower tier. And then he does have a catapult over here. And then here is his general, Raymond, the 6th, Count of Toulouse. And which, oops, sorry guys. I believe that would be this gentleman right there. So that is Raymond. And I think the rest of his forces are kind of dotted all around the city. He does have 2 units of the Pedites Loricati, which is a halberd unit. There's the other one right there. And for his infantry, he's got 2 units of the Armati Cathari, a tier 2 melee infantry unit. And then the rest of his forces are kind of deployed over on this flank, so he's got a couple units of Free Company footmen, I think 3 units total. And then he does have a Free Company longbowmen, I think 3 or 4 units of them. Here comes another unit of Pedites Loricati, and the other spears that I was talking about before. So this is pretty much it, guys. It is a long battle, so get yourself comfy. You can always come and watch this back in a few parts if you wish, but let's get to it. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, the County of Toulouse actually being very aggressive here and moving outside the walls to assault one of the attacking armies. Let's go ahead and zoom out there just a little bit, but yeah, he's actually attacking DeVos's Nicaean army, but just look at this artillery hit here. The bombard actually focusing these units down, so Ghost Recon, he's actually going to have to quickly move into position if he wants to get any work done with all of these units that he's pulling out of the city. It looks like Labadel is helping him out with some military order cavalry as well. He is going for the bombard, but the bombard is pretty much out of ammo at this point, so it's not really a huge loss. But, oh yes, look at the archer fire coming in on this military order cavalry that is just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. There they go. So they pulled back. And they're looking for other, you know, sweet spots or areas to charge on, but DeBoss 11111, he is actually forming most of his Scoutatoy into a square formation, so that pretty much negates any kind of charge into these spears at all. But it looks like they actually might get a solid charge into these swords. No, it looks like they were also able to form square just in time. So, very good battlefield awareness on DeBoss's part. See how the County of Toulouse is doing over here. He does have his 3 units of Free Company footmen coming in. We've got the Bombard crew over here slowing down some of the Petites Loricati, but they're going to get slaughtered. And we also have some Scoutaferi as well. So some very expensive units for the defenders coming out. But let's get a slow motion charge here. My general's bodyguard has commanded that the condottieri come over to help the Latin Empire, or not the Latin Empire, the Empire of Nicaea. The Spatheroid Guard over here are holding, and here is a juicy target in this Free Company that's turned around fighting the elite Scoutatoy swordsmen. And there's a really nice charge, knocking a lot of them to the ground. I have to be careful with my cavalry, though, because this is a very expensive unit of cavalry, and smartly, Ghost Recon has actually left a unit of Free Company longbowmen on the walls, and he can pretty much cover and fire like right almost to the edge where my cavalry is right now. So I'm trying to get my cavalry out of there. I didn't really want them to charge into the side of the Free Company engaged against the Spatheroid Guard like that, but most of the unit is peeling off. There is going to be a few voice cracks as well. This is the first hour-long siege that I have recorded after being sick, so basically my voice isn't 100% just yet. So yeah, I keep trying to get them out, but as you can see, a couple of them are getting cut down. I was getting a little bit frustrated with that, so I think I eventually just pushed them right into to charging, even though it's not very far. See, a lot of them are missing, but these couple of units that will get a good charge, that's going to be pretty huge against the Free Company footmen there. But I have another unit of condottieri coming around. They are tired. So if this was the new patch, where I think if they get exhausted, then they go down to like 25% effectiveness, then that would have been a problem. I would have had to rest them, so I wouldn't have really been able to support DeBoss in this fight very much. But the spears over here have kind of formed their famous spear wall, so you can see now that they're up to 105 missile block, which is insane. But these poor Petites Loricati, they are being focused down quite heavily by the heavy archers of the Empire of Nicaea. Yeah, they've got really no other choice but to charge in at this point. And here comes my other unit of condottieri. We just missed that really nice charge there. And the rest of the unit, I kept a really wide unit stance. I think that's something I learned from Max Laser, is keeping a really wide unit stance, because the ones that pass by on both sides, they'll turn around and flank from behind. But I'm getting my elite condottieri. I pulled them through, unfortunately, so I did lose a decent amount on this unit. But it's because we have a unit of Hanseatic Lancers, so even the Red Celt over here trying to get some early kills on the attacking armies. But I'm going to sneak my condottieri right back and around, and then we will kind of pin in these Hanseatic Lancers. Looks like they are going to try and get out of there, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to hold them in place, and they're going to get fired upon by arrows. So again, pretty successful for the attackers, I would say. For the defenders, not so much, just because they didn't really coordinate their attack. They're kind of filtering in their units 1 or 2 at a time, which is fine. It's fine. Like, everybody makes mistakes and such, but to have a more coordinated attack or to bring out more cav at one time might have been the better option, because we would have been scrambling at that point. But there we go. We've got some of the Scoutaferi. Oh, yes, another nice charge with my condottieri into the back of the Scutafuri. And I think I got a nice charge into this unit too, because it wasn't in shield wall. So yeah, really starting the battle very quickly. I kind of love when sieges start quickly like this. Let's go ahead and put it in slow motion just a little bit longer. You can see we've got the Latin con in behind now. They've wanted to get their swords wet for a little while, and the Emperor's bodyguard has finally allowed them to move in and cut down the last of these free company. The horse just going through that guy. He's like, whoop, whoop. There we go. Looks like the Latin con are going to pull out. We got some of the Anglo-Varangioi as well fighting the Free Company, which is a battle that they will surely win, especially with the help of the cavalry. And there we go. Free Company footmen breaking. Only 20 kills for that Free Company. And look over here. Oh, hold on. We've got to pause this. Rudolph of Erlach is coming over to lend some aid as well. But the catapult from the County of Toulouse getting a big hit. Look at that. A very big hit. So Rudolph barely escaping death with his with the rest of his unit there. Down to 30 men, so 8 of his bodyguard killed here. Really good hit by the County of Toulouse's cavalry. Or sorry, by the County of Toulouse's catapult. But unfortunately, Rudolph is a little bit late to the fight. My elite condottieri are breaking this unit of Scutafuri. He does have an option to charge in here, though, which will be a pretty decent charge, I think, if he can get the angle on it. And actually, DeVos 11111, he's seen that Rudolph, of Erlach, wants to move in, and he's actually peeled one of his spears out of the way so that he can get an uninterrupted charge into the Scutafuri. Well, let's take a look at my condottieri here. 100 kills and 101 kills. So far that cavalry has been very useful for me. And let's put this on play and get the full effect of the Swiss nobles charging in wedge formation as well. A couple of them being hung up on the bombard, but still most of them penetrating the formation of the Toulouse spears. And, yeah, that's going to break them. So that is it for the attackers' sally out, I guess you could say. I was just thinking of the words there. But some very expensive units lost. If you look at the man count as well, we both have over 5,000 men, just over 5,000, but the enemy man count steadily dropping. So they've lost about 700 men in that endeavor, where we only lost about 200 or 300. So is it worth it? I guess we'll find out in the following battle. So I'm going to make a cut here, guys, and then once we move to assault the walls, we'll bring it back to you. Alright guys, welcome back to the second phase, I guess you could call it. So we had that sally out that was unsuccessful, unfortunately, for the attackers, but now it's my turn to go on the offensive. So I've got all of my Spadaccini on the siege towers and moving into the walls. And Labadel is bravely holding it with his, I think these military order swordsmen is what they're called. And unfortunately for me, as you can see, the Spadaccini, as soon as they come onto the walls, they turn around to try and attack Labadel's infantry here, which I'm not sure if it was by accident or on purpose, but he's left them kind of facing forwards so that my units have no choice but to turn around and fight him. And then the Hospitaller Heavy Caravan that's right over there, plus one of the units of Free Company Longbowmen, are just going to have a field day. 80 missile block really doesn't help you if the shield is facing away from the arrows. But as you guys can see, I've got most of my siege towers onto the walls without any problems. So I've got, I think, 6 siege towers here. But I'm trying to be conservative with my ammo. I don't want to move my crossbows forwards just yet, because I don't really have any good targets for them. Well, let's see if we can zoom into this fight a little bit here. So Jerusalem bravely holding the walls. I really like when when defenders hold the walls like this. Even though the towers are gone, walls can be very useful. If you have some good crossbow units, they can rack up a ton of kills while you hold them with cheap sword units like this. Because I think these are just tier 2, these Crusader Armati. I called them military order swordsmen, but they are Crusader Armati. But basically, if you're wondering why a lot of my unit isn't coming off the walls, it's because as soon as the siege tower opens, basically, and they start to filter down, I put my unit in shield wall before they get into melee. So a few will trickle down, but they just seem to last longer when they have that buff. So you can see these guys I didn't get into shield wall, nor did I get on these guys. But these guys, wherever they are, see, they are in shield wall. However, they are shaken, losing current combat, unfortunately. I am taking the gates, though, with this unit of Spadaccini. However, Labadel saw that, and he moved another unit of Crusader Armati, plus the Urbam Hestarum Loricati, into the zone so that I couldn't effectively take it, which was a little frustrating. But if you hear the oil burning, that's because I've got my bombard crew over here, and there we go! They successfully broke open the gate, and they're going to charge into those spears to an almost certain death. But my bombard crew is brave. This guy was actually knocked down, and he's getting back up. And they actually got a kill. No kidding. Wow. Oh, there we go, though. Getting some vengeance. But yes, let's see how it's going on the other side. I don't think DeBoss is really moving in. He's just trying to capture the gate, but he doesn't really have any resistance over here, which is really nice for him. However, it looks like the Swiss are about to move to the walls. Now, Hamdog is going to have his work cut out for him because the Red Celt basically just has to hold this road and this road. So it's a very tight space. So Hamdog is going to have to really think tactically about how he wants to take this, because you can't even move down this wall and then get down and go to the center. It's literally only those stairs there. And he could go down this tower because it's still alive, which is good. But then this stair here, which is covered by Landwehren. And there's Landwehren covering these steps as well. So yes, very, very interesting. So the copper shields, probably going to see pretty heavy casualties on this wall. Whoops. But it looks like the Red Celt already lost a few to catapult fire. And I see some Vapnir on the far side over there. Some of the Norwegian Vapnir on the walls. But pretty unopposed up here. I'd imagine that, yeah, here comes the archer fire as soon as the copper shields move onto the wall. And where is that archer fire coming from? Is it over here? Yes, it is. Are these the Orkney Islanders? Yes, they are. So yeah, getting some nice flanking fire if you come down to their level and then just end zoom from where they are. You can see that they're going to get some nice shots on those copper shields. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's looking like a rough go over there, but it looks like we've actually got a choke point battle here. Some copper shields actually moving into the gap to fight the Vapnir and the Landwehren. Some of them actually penetrating the pike wall, but they're being beaten back by some of the men that drop their pikes and push into melee. Oh, nothing better than blowing the walls, though, and then getting a nice shot of these pikes holding the city, holding the breach. Let's get a nice end zoom there. So yes, the Swiss are having a bit of trouble. It looks like these couple siege towers aren't moving in for some reason. I'm not exactly sure, or it looks like they've just come off the walls. Not exactly sure what that unit is doing. But the Red Celt, he seems to have everything under control over here. So let's go ahead and put this back on play and come, excuse me, come back to see some of my brave Spadaccini breaking. And it's not even to this Crusader Armati, it's to those infernal Hospitaller Caravan. 41 and 43 kills already. And that's on infantry with 80 missile block. Like, I've already been, I've already been almost completely broken in this center here. Which is bad news bears. However, over on this flank, I'm not doing too bad. However, again, my flank is exposed, and we've got 2 more units of Hospitaller Caravan over here. I'm not even sure if they're firing yet. I think they're just waiting for their unit to get out of the way. Because I think I'm currently breaking a unit of the Crusader Armati. Oh, there's a volley. I hear it. Yep. Melting away my man count. Same over here. You see 4 or 5 drop. Ready to fire. But I think I have a unit of crossbows over here. Yes, I have a unit of crossbows over here. I'm trying to get it in range of these pikemen over here, or these Poland knights. Because they're tier 1 and they don't have the best missile block, and they're facing away from me, I try to get a few good volleys into them. But we've got another unit of the Urbam Hastarum Loricati holding just in front of the pikes, and this is where the Poland knights are going to excel, especially against a very depleted unit of Skutatoi, which captured the gate. You can see DeBoss is moving his forces into the city here. Some of them anyways. A lot of his forces are kind of being held in reserve, and he's even bringing his archers over to my side because he sees that I'm definitely having some issues. More breaking going on for my Spadaccini. But over here, DeBoss 11111 with his heavy archers, very smart over here, going after the catapult. He's already only got 3 out of 4, and it's down to 2 out of 4 now. So I'm not sure if Ghost Recon notices this, that this is going on. But he's losing a lot of his crew as well. Well, actually, that's a lie. He's only lost 1 crew member. But if he can eliminate this catapult early, that would be huge for our attacking forces not to have to worry about 1 less catapult. However, he's pretty much used almost all of his ammo. But there we go, burning a few more. So we'll check back with that after and see how that's going. But over here, it looks like the Red Celt actually tried to charge out with some of his Hanseatic Lancers. Not sure if he was really successful in anything. But we've got some of the Swiss nobles of the late period also quite depleted. I think that's due to the bow bondier up here that we're firing down. But we've got a battle with some copper shields here against the Vapnir, so let's zoom in and take a look at that battle. I'm just going to take a quick drink of water here.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle. A unit is running from the enemy.
These copper shields are really cool, though. I would play the Swiss more often, but they're a little bit underpowered. And how is this still going here? Probably a bloodbath for the Swiss. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of copper shields on the ground. And it's not even like Hamdog can even bring forward his archers to get rid of the Landwehren because they're going to be pelted down by the Bow Bondier and the Orkney Islanders over on this flank. It actually looks like we did have some of the late period crossbowmen up here, but we've got some Landwehren on the walls, which is actually... Wait, yeah, that's actually hilarious that he actually has pikemen up on the walls like that. Probably not the best area for pikemen. If I was these archers, that's what I'd be focusing down because they are really susceptible, and I think that's exactly what Hamdog CDXX is doing. Let's put this on slow motion here and take a look at this. I think the Red Celt does realize his error, and he's going to try his very hardest to get these pikes off the walls. before they take too many more casualties, but they're already almost down to half strength. And I don't think that they've gotten that many kills either, if we take a look. Yeah, only 35 kills for the Land Baron. But over here, again, the Copper Shields, I think they were trying to go down that way, but then he realized he couldn't get down there, so he tried to come back. But now we have a unit of Vapenir that's just holding these 2 units of Copper Shields in place. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and put this back on play and take a look at my still failing attempt to break these walls. The Kingdom of Jerusalem just will not quit, and I'm having to push forwards 2 units, or my only 2 units basically, of the Lanceri up onto the walls, because my infantry is pretty much spent at this point. I have 0 infantry left. Well, I have 2 units of pikemen and 2 units of depleted cavalry. And, of course, my crossbows, which I'm going to have to be very key with. Oh, here we go, though. So, I'm just going to put this on slow motion for a minute. I did break those 2 units by firing into the backs of them. DeBoss 11111 did help me with his heavy archers, but now we've got some of the heavy caravan where we want them. Eliminating even one of these units is going to be huge, but here we go, putting it into square, so that's going to make it very tough for this cavalry to be able to break the Hospitaller heavy caravan. That was a really solid charge, though, I do have to say. So, we probably would have been able to break them if we didn't have to contend with more of the Hastarim Loricati from Jerusalem coming back to just destroy the Latin Con. They're only tier 1 cavalry, so they're not going to last too long against spears. DeBoss, he is sending up some of his Anglo-Varangioi. They're going to have to be careful, though, because their missile block is pretty garbage. But I'm finally taking this gate now with my victorious soldiers. At least on this flank. Over here, these 2 units refuse to break against my Lanceri. The only thing that the Lanceri kind of have going for them, though, is that we drove off the heavy caravan. So we shouldn't really have to worry about, you know, getting shot in the flank. But a pretty gruesome battle so far. And it is just a slog to try to get in here. Just a slog fest. But it looks like, are these my units or is this Jerusalem's units? These are my units that are coming down. So we've effectively driven Jerusalem off of the main wall. However, over here Hemdog is having quite a bit of trouble. And he's actually retreated with most of his forces. He's completely pulled back out of the city. We've got 1 unit of Copper Shields here still fighting on the walls, but they are wavering because they're kind of attacked on 2 flanks. Hold Copper Shields. But for Hamdog's forces, he really doesn't have too many units left as well. He's got his archer sergeants. He does have some of his cavalry, but only 2 units of Copper Shields managed to make it out of there alive. Like myself, though, he does have his 2 units of pikes, and he also has his men-at-arms. So it's not over yet, but we've pretty much had 20 minutes of the battle, and it's still dead even. Both in the man count and the balance of power. You can see we have 3,750, and the enemies have 3,970. So I'm trying to get my condottieri around here. I was going to come around and charge into all this Hospitaller heavy caravan, but very aware over here. He brought some spears to block. And I'm just getting hit. I need to save these Hobby's crossbows here, but I'm getting hit by the catapult. Luckily, it's not the best angle, so I'm not too worried about it. But again, over here, big hits on my Lanceri, and this is where I activate my catapult. I'm getting pretty desperate now, firing into the Spear and Poland Knight combo that Labadel used pretty effectively first off. And it looks like the catapult for Toulouse survives with one catapult remaining. But yes, here we go. So I almost actually get trapped here. I'm trying to find a way into the city to just disrupt the Red Celts and give Hamdog a little bit of respite, but the Red Celt bringing forward some Landwehren here. He was going to close the jaws between the spears and the pikes, but I saw that coming and I did not want to deal with it. However, here comes Hamdog. It's completely open now. He's got his 2 units of cavalry coming in. The pikes don't know which way to turn. If this doesn't spell panic for you, I don't know what does. And the condottieri are going to come right in behind to get a nice charge on this Landwehren. Now, they are holding, which is smart because they don't want to have to contend with this Swiss cavalry here. But eventually, they're going to have to turn around. There we go. They turned around, and that's where Hamdog is going to strike with his Swiss nobles. Boom! That is a big hit there. A lot of them being thrown right on their faces. And that is how you get rid of a unit of Landwehren. Also here, the Red Celt tried to send in his depleted Hanseatic Lancers, but the elite condottieri have broken them. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to lose my 1 unit, but they already have 137 kills, so they've served me pretty well. The other one up to 120. Oh, and they actually rallied. Nice. Oh, yes, and the Red Celt bringing some Vapenir down to try to block in this cavalry, but they actually got side-charged pretty hard. You can see losing pretty much 30 men in that engagement. And these pikes have broken now, too. And I think I kind of line up my cavalry before I get a charge. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm just trying to run down these pikes so that they do not return. But this Vapenir is struggling. Struggling to survive. Oh, we've got another unit of Landwehren over here, though. But that's when we've got some of these archer sergeants who have all of their ammo coming in to attack the Landwehren from behind. So big hits there. Some good teamwork trying to, wrap up this flank. The Red Celt is scrambling here. Bringing back some of the Vapenir, but it's too late. Hamdog has already established a foothold in the city just like that. So if things are looking bad for you, it kind of depends on the situation. I wouldn't say that you should always retreat. In fact, I'd probably say 8 out of 10 times you should probably hold where you are, because pulling your forces out of melee is usually a death sentence for that unit anyways. It's better just to leave them going. But in this case, Hamdog pulled back, and he's actually gotten a lot more success now inside the city. But there we go. I'm pulling my condottieri back. I know that there are a couple of units of Swiss nobles that are holding, but a couple of them should get through. Yeah, you can see penetrating deep into the lines there of the Vapenir. And I think that does actually get one of them to start to waver, I believe. But my cavalry is pretty much spent at this point. Yeah, my cav is actually starting to waver. There goes Rudolf of Erlach. He's getting out of there. But Norway, he still has a formidable force in the town center, but he's pretty much lost this side over here. Well, it's pretty close, I would say. There's a lot of wavering from Hamdog's side as well. But let's go ahead and take a look over here at what's going on. So I've actually formed up my own spear wall, and we've got some of the Free Company longbowmen who have used up all their ammo are moving into melee now to face my spears. Ooh, you can just hear the catapult. Unfortunately, that catapult is really wasting a lot of their ammo firing on these units back here. It's actually going for this unit of Spathroy Guard. I probably wouldn't have done that. And it looks like the Poland Knights over here are broken. We were really focusing that unit down. Oh, big hit into my Lancieri. Or my Spadaccini, sorry. I have a unit of Lancieri in there as well, though. But yeah, the Poland Knights have broken. And yes, it looks like all of the remaining Hospitaller heavy caravan are pulling back to the town center for the final stand. But over here, so Red Celt, good on him. He's actually gotten control of the situation here. But now it's pretty much pike on pike. However, looks like the Red Celt had a depleted unit of Vapenir go out the gate and flank the pikes from the side. However, the heavy pikemen have just pinned them up against the walls now, and they are just being slaughtered. Actually, I kind of want to see this battle in slow motion here, so let's slow this down. This is actually a really nice shot. Oh, and they're breaking. Oh, that sucks. I was going to watch that for a little bit. But yeah, so the Vapenir have been broken there, and we've got the pikemen, the heavy Swiss pikemen, easily breaking what's left of the Landwehren here, which is going to effectively rout the rest of this defense. But look at the aftermath here. So much blood. Even on the walls over here as well. So a very tough fight. It looks like some of the Orkney Islanders are moving forwards to get some shots off on Hamdog's forces. But yeah, I'm pretty much depleted. I've got my pikes, as I said, but they've even taken some damage to the heavy caravan. And this unit still will not give up. Crusader Armati, up to 102 kills. This is a tier 2 infantry. They are fighting a unit of Lancieri with 8 kills, and a unit of Spadaccini with 72 kills. And my Spadaccini is breaking. Like, what? The whole battle, Labadal and I were like, I can't believe, is that unit still on the wall? Yep, it still is. Like, they just will not die. In hindsight, I probably should have turned around one of my units of crossbows and given them a taste of their own medicine, firing into their flank, but I really wanted to save my ammo for the last stand. I was trying not to fire on anything, because I knew that they would have all of their halberds and all of their really meaty polearm units in the town center for the last stand. Let's go ahead and pop that onto play there. But DeBoss, he's kind of keeping us in the game here. He's still got most, if not all, of his units, which is really, really good. But Hamdog and I are not faring the same. And just look at this. Thankfully, this catapult is almost out of ammo, which is huge. I've stopped firing with mine. Where's my catapult? Oh, it's right here. So I'm only picking and choosing my targets. I really want to save this catapult ammo as well. But there we go. Boom. So there goes all of my units of infantry in the center here are broken. However, I've got my crossbows set up, and I'm going to quickly try and fire into the units that are going after mine. Oh, but here comes a catapult shot. He's really going for my crossbows with the catapult, which is a valid strategy. These crossbows can win or lose you the siege.
Keep everyone in the fight.
That looks like it's probably going to be a good hit, or maybe just over. Oh my goodness, throwing that guy against the wall. Wow. Very brutal. It looks like we've got some of DeBoss's units moving forwards, though. We've got some Anglo-Varangioi. And here we go. The final call out for these spears has been activated. So they are going to pull back to the town center, but not before my crossbows get a few shots into their backs. I think. I thought I was aiming at them. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to escape. Maybe I was saving my ammo, like I said before. But how we looking over on this side? Yes, we've actually got the men-at-arms in here, but they are not faring well at all. 35 kills only. The Vapenir really struggling. And the Orkney Islanders running away from the heavy pikemen. So the heavy pikemen are going to have to turn around and face the bow bombardier. But that's going to cause these Orkney Islanders to turn around and try and fire on the pikes again. So Hamdog is quickly trying to get them into cover. A couple of them probably going to get hit, though. Ooh, yeah, quite a few, actually. What's this on the walls here? Some bow bombardier. So it looks like they are retreating as well. But yeah, so these 2 units of pikes are pretty much all that Hamdog has left as far as infantry goes. Then he has his archers, and he's got Rudolph, but Rudolph is pretty depleted. So he's going to have to be careful here. And we've got the pikes getting hit harder with arrows, and then again, the Red Celt's just going to pull them away. And there we go. Finally, that extra tower is gone. So that should stop, you know, the relentless fire onto Hamdog's units. And here comes these annoying Orkney Islanders once again. They're probably going to fire right into the backs of those pikemen. Oh my goodness, actually just executing these men-at-arms. Luckily, they did not break those, so now they are stuck in melee. And here we go. Looks like we got a couple more units here coming in. Got some crossbowmen. I think they've used up most of their ammo. They have not, but yeah, the Orkney Islanders are going to try and get away, but Hamdog's like, nah, that's not happening again. And Red Celt's like, yep, yeah, it is, and he just runs them away. Oh, big game of cat and mouse over here. However, what do we got going on here? Looks like some Pedites Loricati have charged in against my units. They actually have only 11 kills, though, so I must have been able to focus them down pretty successfully. And these 2 units here that were in shield wall, the Armati Cathari, are also taking quite heavy casualties. So it looks like they're just going to be thrown into the mix now.
Men are running! Stand and fight, damn you!
Charge! And there we go. The Rus mercenaries actually being thrown into battle as well. There we go. Show them how real men fight. But yeah, we're breaking them. So the balance of power actually looking to be a little bit in the defenders' favor. We're still trailing on the man count, but it's still pretty close to dead even. We're trading man for man here. Down to 2,400 men. The enemies, the defenders, down to 2,600. And this is pretty much what they have left. And it's pretty much their most elite troops, so it's good that I'm saving a lot of my ammo here. You can see that the Hospitaller Heavy Caravan is almost out of ammo. So if I can hold onto my crossbows, then I think that we should be able to do a lot of damage to these halberds, mainly the Fratres Milites Templi. I don't know how you would pronounce that, because I'm not sure if it's a French unit, like Fratre? Fratre? Milite Templi? Something like that? I don't know. Should probably stop. But yeah, I am focusing... I'm focusing the Grandmaster of the Hospital with my catapult, and Labadel's just running him back and forth to try to stay away from the fiery balls of justice brought down by the catapult. And here we go. Looks like the Swiss have been victorious over here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a push over here, though, by the Red Celt. And the County of Toulouse also moving forward some Scout de Fury to block this choke point. He's also holding the choke point further up the road as well. But I think Hamdog is just going to sit back with what's left of his archers and just try to get rid of that Landwehr. I think that's what they're mainly firing at. Good call to get into loose formation.
They won't know us, hit them! Our men are breaking up!
By the way, guys, I just hit 950 subscribers today, so just again, I'll do a thank you at 1,000. But I'm just always so happy to see that so many of you guys are enjoying my content. I never really would have thought that much of my own content, but 950 of you guys can't really lie. So again, I really appreciate it. But it looks like Rudolph bravely charging. Oh no, there he is. There he is. That's Rudolph right there, the helmet and the plume. So he did get a nice charge into that Vapenir, breaking it, but then I guess his horse just wouldn't slow down in time, and he actually died on the Norwegian pikes. Oh, big hit there by the catapult. Nice shot. Actually only getting 2 kills, but it sounded good. Oh, no, we're still dropping down to 114. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Hamdog's forces. He's got a couple units of pikemen that are still left. And I think that's it, actually. And what Hamdog's doing, he's actually moving his pikemen into this corner here. So now the Red Celt is going to have to come on the offensive to take him out. But over here, again, we're just being really conservative. I do have my 1 unit of Pichieri in melee, but I was raging pretty hard about this unit because this is an expensive tier 3 unit from Genoa. They are in pike wall. I did push them into melee properly. And this unit of Armati Cathari has 77 kills, and most of them are on my healthy unit of Pichieri. Meanwhile, my late period pikemen, 17 kills on this unit. I was like, what is going on right now? What is going on with this Jerusalem swords that can best elite Genoan pikemen? Even with the help of some of the heavy archers. And we've also got the Spathroid Guard over here as well. And this unit is just holding. It's just holding all day. But yes, again, I've captured this little center here, so that's going to affect their morale. But I'm trying to hold on to my ammo. Some of them are getting pretty depleted, but a couple of the back ones still have half and more than half of their ammo. Meanwhile, Hospitalers, I think he has 3 units left. And they're also kind of holding on to their ammo, which is smart. But here we go. Looks like some of these spears here, the Scutafuri, actually charging right in onto the pikes, which is never a good idea. That's actually broken them. And now the Landwehren are going to have to contend with the Swiss pikemen. Whoops. Trying to get a good upper camera angle here.
Our gates have fallen to the enemy.
And here we go. It looks like we got some crossbows. A unit of Hospitaller Heavy Caravan has been peeled off to help deal with these pikemen. And I'm not sure why they're going on the walls. That may have been a misclick. I'm not too sure. But we've got the Scutafuri Cathuri were coming back in, but they broke. But there we go. Finally, this unit of Armati Cathari is starting to waver. And there we go. Some nice big hits, onto the Pedites Loricati and the, what is this? The Urbum Hastarum? Yeah, it is, from Jerusalem. We've got DeBoss's general coming over here, the Emperor's Bodyguard. We've got a few units that are flanking around. I think this is my last infantry unit, aside from 1 unit of pikemen. And again, the man count, 2,000 to 2,300, so we're slipping a little bit. But my general's bodyguard over here, late period, silver chevron upgrades, tier 3. He is coming over to save this last unit of Swiss heavy pikemen. I think the other one was broken by crossbows. And he's just trying to protect himself next to this building from the arrow fire. But my general, here he comes, the savior of the day. And we actually had a barricade spawn here. And the Hospitaller Caravan are pulling away. So unfortunately, I won't be able to go down there to chase them. But the Red Celt and his Orkney Islanders are going to see their deaths here at the hands of my general. Actually, he didn't even see them until he turned the corner, and then he was like, oh crap, there they are. That's pretty much it for them. Not even slowing down. What a charge. Beautiful charge there. And now the pikemen are pushing forwards the Landwehr over here. So they are squeezing through the gap, but the heavy pikemen of the Swiss are quickly trying to form up. And they almost charged right onto the pikes without their own pikes out, so that would have been disastrous. But they're kind of glitching out a little bit there. They're having trouble getting into formation. Oh, that's why, because he actually was trying to form a square here, which is pretty smart. I don't know if I even saw that. I think I just charged my general right in. Yeah, actually not taking any casualties, though, which is really good. And my general right... Oops. I forgot I was already end-zoomed there. But my general is right in the heat of melee, too. First to charge in. There he goes. He's rallying his men. He's like, push on. Yeah, and those pikemen are dropping pretty rapidly. Down to 70 men. And I think we are clawing back the man count now. Yeah, it's back to about a 200-man advantage. 1,800 to 2,000. Balance of power still a little bit in the defender's favor. But there we go. The heavies... Excuse me, my voice is starting to crack a little bit. The heavy Swiss pikemen just pushing forwards, forcing the Landwehr onto the swords of my general's bodyguard. And there we go. They have broken. So this is pretty much all that's left of the Swiss. 1 unit of pikes. And that is it.
The men are broken and running.
So it's pretty slow for the next little while, guys. There's my unit of Pesherius broken, trying to attack this next holding in the streets. So I'm going to make another little cut here, and then once the final battle for the town center begins, we'll bring it back. Alright guys, welcome back. And actually I didn't have to make a very big cut at all. I forgot that we actually had a very brave sally out charge from the town center from the Red Celts Norwegians. It's pretty much the last of his forces have pushed through to try to kill all of my crossbows now that my pikemen had broken. But the unit returned just in time, and now they are holding very bravely against the Orkney Islanders. I'm pushing up my catapult here. This is a classic move that I usually do to try to break spear formations. But there we go. Oops. Apologies there. My pikemen have broken, though, for the second time. But we've got a unit of Skutetoy that are pushing forwards to, again, save all of our archers from a most certain grisly fate. But here comes the last of the Vaetnir and the Foot Ritter as well. So Red Celt pushing forwards his general into battle. And this is the last of the Norwegians. So it was a pretty close fight against the Swiss on that other flank, with him only having about 3 to 4 units left. My pikemen again returning from routing, so I'm going to push them into melee once again. But yes, unfortunately I did use up all of my catapult ammo. However, how much did they get? 124 kills, so that is pretty solid. But you know exactly what I'm doing here is I'm focusing all of these units, especially the Foot Ritter, with my crossbows right over here. Just getting the nice arc over the building and into the ranks of the Norwegian survivors. So the Skutetoy should hold all day long, especially with my depleted unit of pikes helping them out. Oh, and there's the king, too. If you guys can see right in the middle there, there is the king. Actually, right in melee. He's like right at the front line. Oh, yeah, there we go. The Norwegians really dropping there. His men are falling all around him. More men do push up to protect the king, though. Push into the gap. And I don't even want to move from this king. This is such a nice fight. And it looks like he's pulling back, actually. Where are you going? Get back into melee. Oh, they're fighting some of the Anglo-Varangioi over here. So he's actually been reassigned. It looks like the boss was actually trying to flank around a little bit. So now the Norwegian king needs to contend with the Anglo-Varangioi of the Empire of Nicaea. But now he's actually at the back, so this isn't too terrible of a position for him. And he does have a couple of the Norwegian Vaetnir holding out. But yeah, I'm getting some nice shots into the backs of this Foot Ritter. They've got a really low missile block. Oh my goodness, disgusting volley there. Again, it looks like he's being reassigned around this catapult. Or actually, he might even be breaking. I think he's breaking. Who's going to kill the king? Our best estate to the man who takes down that Norwegian king. Oh, he's running out of men. He's all alone now. Come on, let's get a nice animation on this king here. He's still trying to fight. Oh, there we go. Not the coolest general death, but nonetheless not too bad. That general did fight his heart out. I don't know if he got many kills, though, to be honest. But yeah, let's zoom out and take a look at the man count now. 16 minutes left in the battle, and now it's just dead even, maybe a little bit into our favor. But look at that, now we have the 200-man advantage. 1,500 men to 1,400 men, basically. So about 150-man advantage. But my general over here was going to move in against the Skutafuri, but he has no way forwards, so he's got to move around this flank. The Hospitaller Heavy Caravan has used up pretty much all of its ammo. It's got like 1 or 2 volleys left. My bodyguard just running down this pathway here. I guess I'm almost tempting him to use his last volley on my general. But here actually comes a nice charge into some free company that were not aware that my general was coming down. And here we go, now going to charge right into the back of all of these soldiers that are still holding. And it's just instant panic amongst the lines of the Skutafuri. They are starting to waver. But I have to be careful. I am putting my general into harm's way here. The Free Company are charging back in, but I get another decent charge on them, knocking them down. But there we go. That one and that one has used up their ammo, so they don't have any ammo left on any of their units. But they do have the elite halberds back here. One of them missing 2. And then they have the Grandmaster of the Hospital. Raymond is still alive. And they pretty much have all of the heavy caravans still left and a couple of Skutafuri. So it's definitely not over for the defenders yet. But now we have 500 men more than the defenders. We've got the brave Swiss nobles. They have not fled the battlefield now that all of their comrades lay dead on the battlefield. They are bravely going to take on this unit of Skutafuri. Yes, push forwards, pikemen. Oh, snap. That guy actually getting pushed to the ground. What is going on here? Are they derping out, or is he trying to get a better position on them? Or I think that's what he's trying to do, yeah. But over on this side, we were just going to push right in, but now I have crossbow ammo that I can use. And there's only so many places that they can run. All of their catapult ammo is gone. All of their archer ammo is gone. So now they're basically like sitting ducks. I think we do have a decently prolonged skirmish phase, or maybe not. I guess I'm just going to charge into this unit right away with my what are these guys called? The Lancieri. And then push in with my depleted Pisheri. Finally, up to 108 kills on these guys, which is good. there's my crossbows. You can see we're trying to get some good shots there. So it looks like I'm moving my crossbows up to charge into melee, but I'm just trying to get the best possible range. And there we go. I'm actually getting some shots on Raymond VI. So they're going to have to be careful with their generals. Now remember, just because they only have a lot of these crossbows left, it doesn't mean that they're out of the fight. Now this is heavy caravan. They're going to fight pretty much just as well as any of my units that I'll be throwing into melee. It's pretty much down, again, like I said before, to the boss. He's got some spears, he's got some Spathroi Guard left, Skutatoy Swordsman. He hasn't even pushed in his Varangian Guard yet into melee, and he still has his general as well. But it looks like these pikes are moving back, trying to tempt the spears forwards. But the spears aren't going to bite. I would actually try to sneak a unit past on this left-hand side here. But we've got some of the late archers moving in now. So tough to crack these spears. That's what the County of Toulouse is known for, is their really good spears. But it looks like the Swiss pikemen are back as well, so getting some of those archers into melee and then supporting them with the pikemen is probably a good plan. I think that they'll last longer that way than just being in melee all alone. But yes, over here, this unit of Fratres Milites Templi, I'm focusing them with my crossbows. Labadel's trying to run them back and forth as best as he can. And it's actually not the worst tactic, because I'm running out of ammo over here. It's only really this unit of crossbows that has any ammo left. And I think I'm just focusing the Grandmaster of the Hospital and Raymond VI with that unit of crossbows. At this point, like I usually follow the gentleman's code, but at this point in the battle, with it being this close, all bets are off pretty much. But there we go. The floodgates have been opened. The unit of spears holding this tide has broken. And now I'm just pushing all of my units out to all sides to try and establish a beachhead. That way, DeVos's infantry can kind of establish themselves and support where necessary. Yeah, here comes the Hospitaller Heavy Caravan into melee against the Anglo-Varangioi. I've got my unit of Pavi's crossbowmen charging in against the Heavy Caravan. And I think that's my general as well charging in, I think. Yes, my general actually pushing in against the Hospitaller Heavy Caravan. My spear's not looking too good. Lanceri's starting to break. Over here, my crossbow's starting to break. The man count's now 1,300 to 863, though. So it's starting to tip into our favor. And there we go. I'm pushing through with my catapults once again. Actually dividing the heavy caravan into, like, two separate sides. But over here, the Skutafuri is still holding. And I'm out of ammo on the Fratres Milites Templi now. They only lost 9 men, so that's not really a good sign. And I wonder where my general is in all of this. Where's the general? There he is. Oh, he's surrounded on all sides. Surrounded by heavy caravan. That is not good. Come on, General. You got to get some kills. Don't embarrass yourself. Yeah, he's not getting any kills, is he? Oh, that is what I'm most worried about, is contending with all of those halberds there. There we go. That's a couple of crossbow rounds. Don't know what I'm firing at now. What are you guys focusing? Something over here. I think I'm going for Raymond VI. Because if I can break Raymond VI, then these Scutafuri won't have nearly as much morale. But the Hospitaller heavy caravan is starting to get depleted. So Labadel is moving his Grand Master of the Hospital over to deal with this flank. And I think I do switch targets to focus the Grand Master with my crossbows. Oh, there's my general. Died bravely on the battlefield. And I think, yeah, that's where I got a little bit worried, because most of my forces started to break at that point. We're down to 1,100 men. They are at 730, so our advantage is actually decreasing once again. But the Grand Master of the Hospital is taking quite a few casualties by me firing on it with my crossbows. And there we go, yes. If I zoom in a little more, you can see that the Varangian Guard have been activated. They are pushing into the town center, and they're just destroying what's left of the hospital, or sorry, yeah, the heavy caravan. Let's go over here, though, and take a look at how we're faring. Still holding, but their numbers are drastically dropping. A couple of these units, it looked like they did pull through, but the Scutafuri are making short work of them. Oh. There we go. It looks like they're pushing through, though, but we've got some of the halberds from the Kingdom of Jerusalem over here to hold this flank as well. So it's just bitter fighting down to the last minute. We've got 5 minutes left in the battle. 900 men to 630 men. So our advantage is still getting smaller and smaller as time goes on. As long as the Grand Master of the Hospital holds out, there is hope for the defenders. But from my standpoint, the only good Grand Master is a dead Grand Master. I've still got a little bit of ammo with my crossbows as well. I'm really trying to focus down Raymond VI. He's got a unit of spears, Scutafuri over here as well. But the Grand Master starting to lose a little bit of his, well, I'd say a lot of his unit. But the Varangian Guard is in melee against the Grand Master of the Hospital. So it's basically axe versus axe. I'm not exactly sure why the Varangian Guard is considered a melee unit, though, instead of a halberd or an axe unit. But they're up to 52 kills, but they've taken almost half of their unit in casualties. But yeah, I'm wondering if in the new patch they will actually be bumped up to a tier 3 unit, since you can only bring one of them instead of tier 1. And maybe they're putting them in like the halberd class. But here we go, we've broken through over on this side, and Labadel being very conservative with his forces, which I was pretty impressed with. He's pulled back this unit of dismounted Fratres Milites Templi. We've got a unit of Scutafuri over here as well. And it looks like they're just bravely going to charge into melee. This is like do or die now. There's nothing else they can do. And the Swiss are still around. You can see like 30 of them on the battlefield. And oh yes, just running right onto the pikes. I'm glad I caught that. That was actually a brutal, brutal charge onto the pikes. And the Swiss are getting a little bit of justice for all of their fallen soldiers. So yeah, Hamdog has 38 men left on the battlefield as of right now. But where did DeBoss's general go? Right into the back of the Hospitaller Heavy Caravan and the Grand Master, who is holding out here. He does have a very fresh unit of Templi that is holding the right flank, though. 245 left in the battle, 750 men to 500 men. So still very, very close. But this unit of Templi is all but destroyed now, especially with that general's charge. I would be shocked if they survived much longer. And Raymond over here still getting shot to pieces. Hasn't moved into melee yet. Now, I think the County of Toulouse player did eventually disconnect, I believe, at some point during the very late stage of the battle. So that's probably why you see Raymond VI and this unit of Scout de Fury, which could have very effectively held those two choke points kind of sitting over here. But there we go. That's a nice charge from the Emperor's Bodyguard into the back of the Grand Master of the hospital. Just an epic, epic struggle. Even a few units of the Varangian Guard still left. And the Grandmaster of the hospital, it looks like, oh, that might be him breaking now. No, he's actually been pulled out of melee. He has called the retreat. And we've got Raymond VI of Castile, or sorry, of Toulouse. Oh, yes, actually charging onto the heavy pikemen over here. So the heavy pikemen up to 481 kills. But I don't think that they've killed Raymond yet, or the Grandmaster of the hospital. I think that they're still alive up until the last minute of the battle. And here come the halberds over here as well, trying to block in DeBoss's general and kill him. DeBoss's general is the only general still alive. There goes Raymond VI. He is broken off the battlefield. And now the Scout de Fury, these two units of Scout de Fury, which could have very well held us off and scraped the victory here, are caught in the center, and they will die. They will all die. Actually, I want to leave the HUD on, though, for the last little bit, because I want to get a final man count here. But yeah, we're down to 697 men to 270. So a very, very brutal siege. Here come the Varangian Guard, though. This is probably going to be a lot of kill animations here, I'd imagine. Yep. And that's it. So a Pyrrhic victory, a very epic battle. Let's take a look at the results before we end the video. So here is the deployed men that we fielded. I lost all but 400 of my force. DeBoss actually had about 700 men left, which isn't bad. Or scratch that. My apologies. Yeah, so 400 men, 650. This says 212 men, but there were really only like 35 by the end of it. But looking at my army, again, my Spadaccini not doing that well. They got cut up pretty well on the walls, but my crossbows saved the day, and especially those two units of cav, plus my general as well, getting really high kills. The catapult 126, not too bad. DeBoss, good with those spears, 169. Anglo-Varangioi surprisingly doing pretty well. The Varangian Guard, that's a little bit low, but they moved into battle late in the game. High kills on the archers. And for Hamdog, yeah, almost 500 kills with that pike unit and almost 200 with the other. The rest of his army really, really suffered to the Norwegians. But looking at Labadel's army, his spear's pretty low. Those Paulin Knights did pretty much nothing. They're not the best units. But his Milites Templi, not too bad. But look at these Hospitaller kills. Everyone over 200 kills. So they are very deadly units. And then the Red Celt, not too bad, considering these are cheaper pike units. The Vapenir holding their own. Good kills with the archers. The Cav, not so much, though. And then for Ghost Recon, yeah, a lot of his spears, except this one, not getting many kills at all. The Halberdiers getting destroyed pretty early. I focused these down intentionally with my crossbows. But yeah, just pretty low kills all around here. I think it was just bad positioning. And also charging out a lot of his units early on in the battle like that. Because they just kind of got rear charged. But that's not really... there's not really anything he could do to stop that. It's basically you're taking that risk if you do decide to charge outside of the town center like that. Or the city, I should say. But yeah, my voice is failing just in time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I know these are longer sieges, but a lot of you guys surprisingly really love these long sieges, so I will keep them coming. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.